It is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon here on Monday, July 13th, 2026. We just got 2 3/4 inches of rain. We just got a deluge there. Of course, I come to the pasture and I have a little puddle in front of the gate. That's my drought monitor, and it's full. But the rest of the pasture, there's only a little bit of puddling in some places. Mostly it's just nothing. The ground is softer. It's notably softer. But otherwise, it looks like this 2 3/4 inches of rain was well received, and the animals seem happier for it. And I went and I moved the bulls and the sheep another road down. Unfortunately, one of the sheep did pass away. Not the one that I was pointing at in the last video, but another one. It was the one that was attacked by a dog about 2 years ago. So yeah, I don't think I've had any attacks from my dog since then. The dog that was responsible was one that I adopted from another farm, and he was half guardian dog and half working dog, which is never a good combination for livestock protection. But I thought maybe I could use his genetics for getting some more of that livestock guardian dog. But no, he's gone. I really didn't know what I was doing when I was training him either. So I think I know now, which is I have the rams pinned up and I have the puppies with the rams, you know, and it's pretty cute. The puppies, they like to hang out with the rams. They like to get shade from them. One time I saw a ram laying down and a puppy sleeping on top of him, you know. It was the cutest thing in the world. But yeah, a little life lesson here about droughts from what I picked up. So this could be the first day of the worst drought in history. So it could also be the last day of the drought, right? You don't know when droughts start. You certainly know when droughts come into full swing. And the only thing we can do is prepare for droughts and make decisions early rather than too late. And so the questions when you're faced with the possibility of a drought is, when do I sell my cows? And the answer, at least for me, is when I realize I'm not going to have enough forage, right? So I do a little bit of a math equation in my head. I just kind of look at the pasture, how much forage I have, and I calculate how many more days I can graze before I run into problems. And if the answer is you've only got like 3 months and nothing more, and then probably I need to start thinking about selling the cows, right? The other thing too is when it does rain after a drought, the ground is parched. It's typically like here in clay soil. This is all clay soil we have here. It's really easy for the ground to get to a point where the water can't penetrate it, right? And so you have to leave what Greg Judy calls the armor on the soil. And what he means by that is you need something growing in the soil. It doesn't really matter what, something. So you don't want to kill the grass on top. And the way you do that is just proper grazing practices, right? So you develop extra forage. You're able to see how much you're eating every day. You're able to see how much you have left if you're rotating regularly. And the rule of thumb that I use for determining how much forage I have is pretty simple. You stick the animals in an area and you come back and you see how much disappeared, right? And in my case, what I can do is I can look and compare with the next row. Like if the cattle were here, I'd be looking at the next row. I'd be looking at, well, how much forage do I have here versus how much forage is left here? And that'd give you a good indication on how quickly they're eating the grass. I moved them out of this row, not because they ran out of forage, but because I didn't want them to eat the grass that started to regrow, right? So I moved them after 3 days. You can see there's lots of really good forage left. They didn't trample everything. They didn't eat everything. Could have left them here for maybe another day, maybe 2 days. You know, I could have left them in this row, but I moved them early. If I could make the rows thinner, I would. I can't. 50 feet's about as thin as I can make them successfully. So I'm moving the cows every 3 days and leaving lots of forage behind, and they're heading into really good forage. And it's getting better and better the further south we go. Once they hit about the midway point in the field, then that's when it kind of, the western side is bad and the eastern side is good. But the eastern side is ridiculously good in the southern half of my pasture. I think that's the area that 2 years ago, I didn't graze. This year I was gonna not graze the northern section of my pasture. And the parts that I haven't grazed are ridiculously overgrown with grass. Just really thick grass. You can lose a dog in that grass and never know. Like if my phone fell in the grass, I might not ever find it. So that kind of grass. So anyway, that's my little spiel and my blurb on droughts. I encourage you to watch some more videos about regenerative agriculture and drought management and drought tolerance and what to do. The last thing you want to be is that guy in the 2-mile long line trying to sell his cows because there's no rain forecast for the next 2 months and you have run out of forage, right? So you don't want to get to that point. So you don't get to that point. One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to start keeping steer and raising them to weight. And the reason why is because if I do hit a drought situation where I need to get rid of cows, I can easily sell the steers. They'll probably maintain their value. Selling cows, you probably won't get as much as you would if you had the steers instead, But, if I did run into a drought situation, these guys, I think they play with each other. I think the dogs play with the cows and the cows play with the dogs, But all of these dogs, they were not raised with cows. They were raised for the first year of their life. All they saw were sheep. And then I let them out and they got to explore the pasture. And that's the first time they saw cows. Anyway, all that to say, this stuff actually works. It absolutely works. I don't know if my meat's any more healthy than anybody else's meat, but I certainly do know I have not bought any hay yet. I'm planning on buying maybe 80 bales of hay. And then that's probably way too much. You know what I mean? And I am not concerned at all. The protein, I was worried that the cows might need protein because the patties were starting to pile up. Well, they're not piling up anymore. I think there's enough protein in the grass they're at that they're fine. So even the protein supplement expense is disappearing rapidly. So anyway, guys, it's a beautiful day. It's nice and cool. It's probably like 70 degrees, 75 degrees. We're expecting more rain. It's really cool because look at yesterday's video and compare it with today's video. The colors are different. Everything is different. The sounds are different. Rain just changes everything. It's amazing. I love it. Hold on, that bull. I think the bull wants him to stay away from the heifer. Now these dogs, they don't know how to deal with cows. They're going to get kicked in the head. So, yeah, that bull is saying, I've got dibs on this calf. You can't have her. That's what's happening there. She should be about 2 years old when they give birth. I think the target date is May something, because I turned the bull on in July 1st. I'm sorry. So that heifer will be giving me a calf about 10 months from now. Those ones are too young, and there's some bulls mixed in there too. But the first generation, or the first years, they'll be 2 years old when they give birth. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. Y'all have a great day. Take care and have a great whatever. Bye-bye.